and the fines are $500 to $1,500 per call. Hi, so what we're going to do is we will learn how to build an AI assistant which can handle phone calls for you or for your clients, and it can also forward calls to your client's phone number. All right, so what I plan to do in this video, it will be a lengthy video, is I want to build everything from scratch. So I want to get a brand new account with the software called Vapi. That is what we will be using for building these agents. And then I want to show you how to set that account up first. Then I will show you how you can create your assistant. Assistant is the AI agent which answers your phone calls. Then I'll also show you how you can forward phone calls to a client or your own number after pre-qualification. All right, so it's not a surprise, but the software we're going to use is Vapi. The link to access this software is vapi.ai, vapi.ai. And let's just visit the homepage. Here you can sign up by clicking on the sign up button here. Straightforward sign up. Once you sign up, you will be able to log in to your dashboard here. All right, so here's your dashboard, and the first thing you should do is you should add your billing information into Vapi, because Vapi is not free. Surprise, surprise. Vapi is very cheap though. It's very cheap compared to most of the other AI phone and platforms you might know. So how can you access this? So all you need to do is just go to the bottom left, and here you can select billing, and this is where you should add your credit card number. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my credit card here and add that. All right, so just added my credit card here. Next step is to add some provider APIs. So what does provider APIs means? So Vapi is like a integration platform. Vapi helps you connect your OpenAI or Claude or Grok, any AI platform you want to use, with a voice provider. So if you like ChatGPT, then you should connect OpenAI. If you like Claude Opus, you can connect Claude. If you don't know what any of these means, just follow the step-by-step tutorial. We'll be using ChatGPT and it will work for most of you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and connect ChatGPT to Vapi, because we will be using ChatGPT, not we, Vapi will be using ChatGPT to understand the context of the conversation and generate responses. All right, so for that you need to again click on the bottom left and click on API keys. Oh, actually provider credentials. Let's open that, and this is where you can connect a lot of providers. So the first provider we are going to connect would be OpenAI, right? So if you scroll down here, you can see OpenAI. So what you need to do now is get an OpenAI API key. All right, so for that you need to visit platform.openai.com, right? So let me just open platform.openai.com, and here you have to log into your account. So I'm going to log in, and after you log in, you'll be taken to a screen that kind of looks like this, right? And here also you have to add in a credit card. So you should go to settings, and here under billing, I recommend you add a credit card by going to payment methods and you add a credit card. All right, so once you add a credit card, you are good to go. You are ready to create your OpenAI API key. So let's create an OpenAI API key by going back to the home page. If you're struggling to get to home page, just change the URL to platform.openai.com, and here you would see dashboard top right. And now to generate an API key, you will just click on API keys, and here click on create a new secret key. So you're going to create a new key. You're not going to use any other API keys. It's always a good idea to create a new key just for Vapi, because it will help you keep track of the usage that Vappy is doing. All right, so now you're gonna name it Vappy, right? And Project would be default. Now click on create key, and that will create an OpenAI key. Copy that key and go back to Vappy, and remember this is where you will paste that key, right? So if you forgot how to access this, just log into Vappy, click on your name, organization name, and then click on provider credentials, and here find OpenAI, just paste in that OpenAI key and click on save, and you have activated your OpenAI API key, right? So that was the first API key we need to set up. There are other models which you can use if you want to use something like Anthropic's Perplexity AI. There are a bunch of model providers you can use, you can test, but for our use case, we just need OpenAI. We don't need anything else. All right, the next one we need to get is DeepGram. DeepGram is another provider. So like I said at the beginning, Vappy is like a platform that integrates multiple providers. All right, so for the AI, the brains, it will use OpenAI or ChatGPT. And for transcribing, that means when I say something, the machine should capture that audio and transcribe it to text so that ChatGPT can understand it, right? So for that, we need to use either DeepGram or a model called Gladia. What we recommend highly is DeepGram. I worked with them, fantastic software. So they'll also provide you, I think, $200 of free credits. So it's great. So all you need to do is just go to DeepGram and create a free account. It is deepgram.com, and when you create a free account, they will give you, I think, $200 credit. So let me just log into my account and show you how that looks. All right, I signed up to deepgram.com. This is what I see immediately after I sign up, right? So here you can see it give me a $200 credit. Great. So now let's click on create API key, and friendly name would be Vappy. All right, so friendly name Vappy, and expiration will be, so you will go for never. Maybe I'll set an expiration date, but most of you will just go for never. All right, and then click on create key, and here you can see the secret. So just copy that, and you will do the same thing you did with OpenAI API key. You will paste it under DeepGram. So paste it, click on save. Now the DeepGram API key is also set up. So what did we set up first? We set up the brains, the AI engine you can use to respond to people. That was OpenAI API key. And then the second one we set up was transcriber provider API key. That was a DeepGram. So we got a $200 credit from DeepGram, and we just set that API key here. All right, so that's the two API keys you need to set up, and you are basically good to go to create an assistant. All right, so now it is time to create an assistant. You can create an assistant by going to assistants and click on create assistant. There are a bunch of templates which you can use. When you start, what I recommend is just go for a blank template. Let's just call it Floof Pet Grooming AI Assistant. So Floof Pet Grooming is a demo client. So we are building this for a client, not for ourselves. So this client, they are in the dog grooming business. Floof Pet Grooming is a sample client we are using here. So I just named it that, and click on create assistant. So we created our first assistant. So there are a few things you need to set up for an assistant. Let's take it from the first page, and we will go to each page after that. So this is what you see after you set up an assistant, right? And here you can see what the cost estimate is. Cost estimate, basically it means what is Vappy expecting you to spend per minute, and this per minute only means when it only counts when the assistant is talking. It's not going to count when the caller is talking, right? So it is only counting minutes when the assistant, the AI engine, is talking to the caller. When caller talks, it's just listening. It's not going to count the minutes. Okay, so with that said, let's go to the first thing. Moral. Here we have to give a first message. So what should Floof Pet Grooming say when someone calls in? So I'm going to type in something like, hey, welcome to Floof Pet Grooming. How can I help you today? All right, so that's the first message. Now, system prompt is where you will basically instruct the AI assistant to on how to behave, or what is the important things the assistant should know. Treat this as an instruction set which you would give to someone who is sitting on the front desk of this client, right? So you can write it in plain human language. It doesn't have to be crazy like programming or anything. You can just write it in plain simple human language, and it will the AI assistant would understand it. So I'm gonna pause and write that instructions for this client and then come back. All right, so I've written the system prompt. This is just like I said, you have to write this just like you would create an instruction set to somebody who is sitting on the front desk of your client's office, right? So this is plain English, nothing special here. I'm going to read this out. I'll also put a copy of this instruction set down below so you can read it and create something similar if you're interested. But it doesn't have to be structured like this. It can be anything. Just talk to it in plain English and the model is smart enough to understand the instructions. All right, so let's just read it. Let me zoom in a bit so it's easier to read. So respond as a friendly support agent for Floof Pet Grooming. Your job is to answer questions that are asked by customers or prospects who call us. It's important to ask questions to understand what customer is looking for and then book an appointment or invite people to visit the facility. Your goal, so I'm setting the goal for this assistant. Figure out what service customer is interested in and offer solution which we can offer and book appointment with us. All right, so we're letting the bot know the primary goal is to get appointments for this client. If you are dealing with some other type of client or other type of business, maybe the goal might be different. But for this pet grooming client, what they want is appointment, so we will just use that. Key is to ask relevant questions that will help us understand what customer is looking for and offer solutions. Focus. Answer questions and get appointments for Floof Pet Grooming and its services. Do not answer anything that is out of context. We specify that, and we specify it once more. Under any circumstances, do not let the user talk about something outside of your scope described. Like some people will just call in and talk about anything under the sky, and like AI, since it's AI, it will just keep on talking. We don't want that. We only want AI to talk about this business and their services. So we're just gonna instruct the AI to stay inside that scope. And next one, this is optional. Sometimes you don't have to do it. I'm saying under no circumstances reveal you are an AI. Always keep character. You are a support agent for the business. You can change this if you want. It's not like required, but I'll just keep it for this example. Next is persona. I'm gonna say funny when needed, kind, helpful, ask relevant questions that lead to finding customer problems and leading to book appointment. So the reason I write ask relevant questions that lead to finding customer problems is it will make the assistant sound a bit more human, right? If you just write try book appointment, it will sound like a robot. It will not ask what the problem customer is facing. It will just, hey, let's book an appointment, it will feel weird, right? That's why we ask the questions and then we try to get an appointment. If you don't know answer to a particular question, let the caller know you don't know it will you don't know it, but will transfer the call to an expert and then transfer the call. So I am, in plain English, I am instructing the agent. If you don't know the answer to a particular question, then you can let the caller know you don't know that, and you can transfer the call to an expert. So in the next step, I will show you how you can transfer the call to your client's phone number or your phone number if you are doing this by yourself. Next is, if customer asks for an appointment, transfer the call so we can book the appointment via phone. So self-explanatory, right? The agent is capable of booking appointments, but it's an advanced, like next level thing using tool calls and stuff. But for this tutorial, I want to keep it simple. If the customer says, hey, yes, I want to book an appointment, then you are going to transfer the call to the transfer number, which we're going to show you in the next few steps. And you know, the owner, the business owner, in our place, this client can answer the phone and book the appointment. And here are some FAQ about Floof Pet Grooming. Now, this is something which this is an FAQ about, you know, that business. You know, do they handle specific dog breeds? You know, it's not required, but the more information you give about this business, the better. All right. And if you have any PDFs or Word files or text files which you can use to increase the knowledge of this bot, you can upload it here by going to knowledge base and upload the file, right? But do not upload super long files. It will not work. I've tested it. I've tried to upload a big sales script. Actually, it was like a whole ebook with a lot of sales tech, but the AI ended up being a sucky AI. All right. So system prompt. I know I spent a lot of time explaining it, but I hope you understood. Just explain what your goal is in plain English, and just keep it simple and start testing. And if you see the assistant is not behaving like the way you want it, then you come back and edit this again so that it gets better. All right. So that is system prompt. Next step is, on the right side, we need to select the provider. Provider for me is OpenAI. I have tested many others. OpenAI kind of works best. It's fast, it's cheap. So far OpenAI is the best, so I'm going to keep that. Model, do not like 3.5 turbo. I always go for 4.0 mini, right? So when you switch these, you can also see the cost changing, right? So if you use GPT-4, then it will increase the cost. So if I go 3.5, it's 0.8. But if I go to 4.0, it is 0.7. 4.0 mini is very good. 4.0 is also very good. 4.0 mini is enough for, small tasks like this. Knowledge base, I already talked about that. If you have any PDFs or text files, anything that can help the bot understand more about this business or this client's business, then just upload it here. Temperature, I've seen 0.7 works pretty well, but the best one for assistance is lower numbers like 0.2, 0.1. If you don't know what temperature is, just lower it to 0.1. Don't even think about it. It's just basically the creativity of the bot. If you increase the temperature, it will try to be more creative, but here we don't want that. Okay, next is detect emotion. This is a beta feature. It's not perfect, but if the person is being super angry, then the assistant can detect it and try to manage their anger. Like if an angry customer calls, hey, you shaved off the whatever part of my dog. I hope nobody calls in like that, but the bot can detect that the customer is angry and try to mitigate the situation by itself. So if you want to turn that on, you can, but full disclosure, it is in beta, so do not expect it to do any magic. All right, so that was model. Next is transcriber. Transcriber, I already explained. Transcriber basically means when we send audio. So I am now sending audio to a computer through my microphone, right? It will take that audio and transform it to text. So that's transcription. It is done by DeepGram. You've already used DeepGram's API key here, so we're good there. Next, let's go to voice. Voice is where we will select what our agent's voice should be. So here you can see provider. There are a bunch of providers which you can use. What we use is OpenAI. There are other providers. So 11 Labs, you may have heard about them. One of the best voice providers out there. DeepGram also has voices. So DeepGram's, where is it? I guess this woman. I forgot, but I guess this one is pretty good. So you can either use DeepGram or OpenAI. Both of them works. All right. So I'm gonna go for DeepGram, and yeah. Oh, sorry. Athena. All right. So let's use that. Next is functions. So functions. This is a bit of advanced topic, but this is where you can also include the forwarding number. All right, so here if you go to forwarding number, this is where you can enter a forwarding number of your choice. So normally this would be the number of your client. So remember I said if the customers ask a question which the bot does not know answer to, then the bot can forward the call to your client, right? Or if the bot asks to book an appointment, then the bot doesn't know to book the appointment yet. You can do that using some advanced technology. It should be a different video, but for now we are just going to forward it to our customer's phone, right? So we need to enter our customers or client's phone, or if you're building this for yourself, then you are going to enter the customer's phone or your phone. So let me just get a phone number. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the phone number of this Domino's Pizza Miami. I know this is a dog grooming business, but for testing I will just use the Domino's number. And there is one more thing, end call. So if you enable this, assistant will be able to end calls. If the user doesn't say anything, if they don't talk for a bit, assistant can end calls, right? So it's a good feature to have, especially because you're paying for the minute. So good feature to have. Enable this. And end call phrase, what should the bot say when they're disconnecting? So I just do goodbye. All right, that's it. Now if you scroll down, next is custom functions. We're not going to talk about that in this video because it's again advanced. So tools and custom functions, these are the things that will let you do some crazy advanced things in WAPI. We're not going to cover that in this video because this is a introductory video. So we're going to skip that. Next is advanced. Here, if you are dealing with a client that is in the medicine or Medicare field, then you need to have HIPAA compliance, basically no logs, no recording, nothing. Audio recording, you should be turning this on. For most clients, it's really helpful. You can hear how the bot performed. Silence timeout. So how long to wait before the call automatically ends? 10 seconds. That's good. Response delay. How much should the assistant wait to respond? LLM request delay, this also should be 0. Do not wait. Maximum duration of seconds calls will last. You can keep it at an optimum level. This works for us because normally this is like a friend desk assistant, so it doesn't need a lot of minutes. This is in seconds, so 1800 seconds kind of works best. so we're going to leave that. Client messages, messaging, you don't have to do any of this. You can just leave it as it is. If you want to do some advanced crazy stuff like get the reporting out of WAPI or that's when you would put all of this here. That will be covered in a different tutorial. Next is analysis. Here you can also give some instructions on what to do after a call, but this also we're going to skip because it's a bit of advanced topic, so we're going to skip that too. So basically what we did is we went to model, set a first message, set a system prompt, that is the instruction to the assistant, selected the provider, set GPT-4o mini as our model, and temperature we reduced it to 0.1. Transcriber we set it to DeepGram, the best. Voice DeepGram, I'm going to use this voice. If you want to use a different one, you can. And functions, we added the forwarding number of our client. I'm just going to use Domino's just for testing, but this would just work fine. Next is advanced. Here turned on audio recording and nothing else. Analysis, we don't do anything there as well. Now we're going to click on publish, and the assistant is now published, right? So next is I am going to assign a phone number. So we have to send calls to this assistant, right? You can do this from web. You can click on talk with assistant and actually talk with this assistant through a microphone, but I want to test it through a live phone call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a phone number. So what we recommend is if you're doing this for your clients, you need to get a phone number, a separate phone number for your client, all right? Because they cannot use their existing phone number because that phone number is going to their phone. This phone number is just for the assistant, all right? So what you're going to do is you'll head to phone numbers, all right? You are going to buy a phone number showing please add card details to buy a number. I think I already added that. I really don't know what happened there. I clicked on this and looks like it started working. So we're back to our tutorial. So phone numbers, here we're gonna buy a phone number, and I am going to enter an area code which I can use. 415, let's buy that. I entered the area code. It will get you a phone number with that area code, all right? So here I bought a phone number. It's going to cost me $2 a month just to maintain this number. If you want to buy numbers that are cheaper, there are other options like Twilio. I think there's one other company I forgot. There are multiple options which you can use, right? But I'm just going to stick with WAPI's numbers. It's just so much easier. So I just bought the number. So here you can see assistant. This is where you should select an assistant. So you're going to click on assistant and you're going to select Floof Pet Grooming. All right. You select that. Fallback destination. This is the destination the call should be forwarded to if for some reasons WAPI service is down, right? So if there is an error in your setup, where should the call go? You should put your client's number in here just in case, but I'm gonna leave it blank because I'm pretty sure nothing will go wrong, but this is just for your information here. Okay, now let's go ahead and try calling this assistant from my phone and see how that goes. All right, so I have my phone here ready and I'm gonna call the number and see how that goes. I'm gonna put it in loudspeaker.
How can I help you today?
Hey, do you do hair trimming on a small Labrador?
Help with hair trimming for your small Labrador. Just to get a better idea, is there a specific style or length you're looking for? And would you like to schedule an appointment?
Yeah, I'd like to schedule an appointment. I don't have any style. Can we do something on next Monday?
Transferring the call now.
Thank you for calling Domino's. Bigger slice.
Transferred pretty quick. Let me. I gave all the information at once. Let me call once more.
Welcome to Flu's Pet Grooming. How can I help you today?
Hey, do you do hair trimming on a small Labrador?
Absolutely. We can definitely help. And would you like to schedule an appointment?
Actually, there are some. Well, I don't know much about styles, but is there anybody who can help me at your facility with styles and stuff?
Of course, our experienced groomers are knowledgeable about different styles and can definitely help you choose the best look for your Labrador. They'll take into account your dog's coat type and your preferences. If you have any other questions about dog grooming or would like to book an appointment for your Labrador, I'm here to help.
Okay, I'd like to book an appointment for my dog.
Transferring the call now.
Thank you for calling Domino's.
All right. Okay, so here we learned something. It's saying floof as FLOOF. That is because the way I wrote it is FLOOF in all caps. So if I write it like this, it will say it better. Just by talking to the assistant, I have I have few pointers which I'd like to improve on the system prompt, and maybe I can also try changing the voice, because the voice here, the deep gram, I like it, but it's kind of robotic. If you want real like human-like voice, then go for 11 Labs. That would be amazing. You should also set up an 11 Labs API, same way you set up the API for OpenAI and DeepGram. All right, but for this demo here, just DeepGram's Athena, that voice works best. All right, so that's how we set up the Vappy AI assistant. Now, if you want to see all the history or the logs of the assistant, you can also check out call logs. Here you can see how many calls were received. If you click on one of these calls, you can also see a detailed log. If you switch to transcript, here you can see what are the messages that were exchanged, right? I rang up the number a few more times just to test, and that's why you see multiple logs. You can also click on overview. Here you can see how many calls were received, how many minutes did the assistant talk, how many or how much money did we spend altogether, and what is the cost of an average call. So that is how you can create and look at the logs in Vappy. So Vappy can also do outbound calls, but we don't do it and we do not recommend it. The reason for that is it's a bit legally complicated, because in the US there is something called TCPA regulation, and according to TCPA regulation, to dial or call a customer using a robotic system or an app like Vappy, you need to have an express consent from the customer to receive these robot calls. If you call without a consent, the caller can sue you. And believe it or not, there are actual people who just go behind lead gen ads and all that to sign up to these ads, just so they will receive either a robotic phone call like this or a text message, so that they can sue them. And the fines are $500 to $1,500 per call. So that is why we don't do outbounds. We don't call with AI. That is the challenge, which we don't know how to address it yet, but if there is any change or update, we can let you guys know. But for now, what we use Vappy is for inbound calls. That is calls that are coming in to our system. We answer the call with a bot. We do not do outbound. We do not call with Vappy as well. All right, so hope this tutorial was helpful. Let us know how this one was. This is Abby, and I will speak to you in the next one.